Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Morning. Just got to give a little bit of a thought, maybe a redirection in even what I see currently in the dirt track racing world. You know, last night on Jeremy Elliott's show, there was a call-in that happened. I believe it was with a guy named Pat. And Pat called in. Y'all got to go watch it. Pat called in, and out of all the people calling in and commenting, complaining about the sport, which I'm very guilty of, Pat called in and basically pointed out all of the positives that are going on in the sport. All, the great racing that we do have. He was comparing to years past. The great crowds, the great events, the people coming together. I mean, there was a lot of, and when it happened, I was sitting there thinking, like, you know what? Out of all the BS that we could all be mad about and upset about, in a way, this guy is right. In a way, when have we had, look at the late model world with the Ricky Thornton Jr.'s and the battles going on with Lucas Oil and World of Outlaw late models, and then look at the sprint car world. Even though it is high limit, World of Outlaws, and all this stuff, and who's choosing who, look at all the big events it has. Look at all the big shows. Look at all the discussions that are flared up. Look at all the drivers. Look at all the teams that we got. Just, I don't know. When I was listening to that guy on the Jeremy Elliott show and then seeing the chat's reaction, which there were still some naysayers, and even Jeremy Elliott said the racing could be better. Obviously, there is great things going on, but they're talking about tires and all that in the sprint car racing industry. But when I heard that guy say all that and express it in that way, I just, for a moment, I was like, I don't know, I felt bad. I felt bad because, I feel like with us as people, we always notice what's wrong, right? We always notice the things that are missing more so than the things that are there. And that's just us inherently as people. We see what could be a threat or a problem because that's a survival tactic. That's how we survive, by identifying problems and fixing them. But in the modern world, it seems like there's so many things to be grateful for in the racing world that we just, I don't know, as people, sometimes just, I would say at that point when I was listening to that, just forget or overlook. So I invite y'all to go listen to it last night. It was very inspiring. And I don't know, it might shift the whole entire foundation to my content overall, and really kind of life-changing in a way. Just a big perspective shift. I know people say that I do that with how I point things out or talk about things. I'll say something and they'll be like, oh, I never looked at it that way. But that's kind of what I had last night. And when you look at the long term, what actually does grow? Talking about what's wrong, or talking about what's right. Acknowledging what's wrong, but not forgetting what all the great right things that are actually happening. Man, like I said, I was just when it was happening, I was like, wow, man, this guy sees it correctly. And also I was like, man, maybe I'm seeing it wrong. And I got a lot of people who agree with me on the stuff I say and the things I see and all that, but I think his message, if it could change what I think and see, and we're not just going to go 100% soft on here, obviously, but if it could change how I see it and what I'm thinking, as far as recognition for all the 100% of what this sport is, then I think it could also change some of the people out there who do follow, do listen to me, see all the things that are wrong. But at the same time, I think we need to, and I think this guy helped me remind myself all the good things that are happening. The breath of fresh air was taken in last night with that call in. I don't know when it was. It was in the Jeremy Elliott live last night. But man, when he said it, I was like, you know what? Out of all the drama, out of all the bullshit, out of all the stuff that's happening, this guy's right. There is all this good stuff, and it deserves to be recognized. And I feel like it's a responsibility of mine, being a content creator, a speaker, a guy that people listen to, that I also start acknowledging that more often as well. So instead of getting on here and bitching and saying high limit this or Kyle Larson that or World Outlaws, blah, 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 I think that this is a really good time for me personally, after that interview that maybe nobody really listened to, or a call-in that no one listened to. I think it's a good time for me myself also, and I think a lot of people to say, man, thanks. Thanks World of Outlaws. Thanks High Limit. Thanks to all these track people. Thanks to all these people who, even though they're not doing it right sometimes and we could bitch about it, even the tech guys, everyone involved, this guy saw it from the lighter side of things. And it was just, for me, listening to it, very impactful. Go into the Jeremy Elliott show from last night. Go find this call-in. See if it impacts you the same. It impacted me. When it happened, I was like, this is the antidote to a lot of the issues. This perspective this guy had. This is what's going to potentially bring more people to the track. Yeah, talking about it, expanding. Some people, a lot of people do love drama, but also this really good positive perspective on the current state of dirt track racing in general. But anyways, go check it out. I know I'm being a little long and drawn out. We're kind of waiting on trucks here in the field to fill up. But man, I mean, sometimes you lose sight of how good we actually do got it. Maybe that could apply to everyday life and not just that, but anything you got going on in your personal endeavors or even in your professional endeavors. Look at how good it actually is. And for me, it's a splice between the two, because obviously racing is a personal and a professional thing for me. And I think that's why a lot of people listen to me, because I express my personality, my feelings a lot, my authenticity a lot in my racing opinions and things that I feel and think. But I also think that maybe, just maybe, honestly, after listening to that last night, I think for sure I'm not, and I think a lot of people are not authentically expressing appreciation for the things that are right. Anyway, that's what I think, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, go find it. I know I talked about this guy calling in, but I kind of summarized. I kind of talked about what I'm taking away. I know I got morning face. I'm sorry about that. It is kind of early out here in the Cornstalkville, but comment what you think. I know there's a lot of craziness going on out there too right now, but man, we actually do got it pretty damn good right now. Racing overall is pretty badass. What do you think? Obviously, once again, everybody can bitch. I know I could bitch. I could list off 10 or 20 things that's wrong. But this guy last night made me see a lot of things that are right. And those things that deserve to be appreciated. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Like the video, subscribe. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we will catch y'all next time.